This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Yo, Mike, happy Thanksgiving week, my man. What's going on at Big Mike's household for Thanksgiving this year? What we got going on?
We're hosting like we do every year.
Yo, that's the one thing that I'd want to do one time in my life is to go to a Big Mike hosted Thanksgiving dinner.
It's chill. I'll say you'd probably be surprised. It's chill at my house on Thanksgiving. It's very chill. It's not real crowded. I mean, there's a good amount of people and kids here, no doubt, but it's not like overly crowded, and there's not a lot of rowdiness. There's not a lot of drinking. It's just a chill day with a lot of good food, a lot of people stopping in and out. But yeah, that's it. We'll be hosting, which means I've been busy all weekend, and my wife's been busy all weekend cleaning, prepping, shopping, preparing, etc., etc. But we're looking good. I got a half day from work on Wednesday, so I'll be out by 1, get some more stuff done.
I'll tell you though, you'd be so happy to spend Thanksgiving with me and my brother one year. Every year it's a tradition.
It's the single man's Thanksgiving, bro.
Every year we spend Thanksgiving
at a restaurant, eat at a restaurant, and then hit the casino.
Every year we've been doing it. It's a tradition at this point, but it wasn't even like supposed to be what we do. But every year we spend Thanksgiving now at the Red Rock Sportsbook. Every year.
Oh, great.
Mom, we always tell Mom, like, Mom will be home at like 2. But this year, what my brother did is my brother's having my mom cook Thanksgiving Friday, and then we're going to a restaurant in the Red Rock, so we don't miss any.
Okay.
Oh my goodness! So yeah,
I know a few people, because I mean, here in Jersey, I'm not far from AC, so I know quite a few people that Thanksgiving night, after they're done dinner, that's where they go. I mean, they go to AC and gamble for the weekend. Gamble Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, stay the whole weekend at AC. My plans, I think we got a couple people staying here Thanksgiving Eve. I think we got a couple people staying here Thanksgiving night. Friday, my mom's going to be up. We're going to do some shopping and stuff on Friday, and we have some plans for the weekend, so my mom will be here for most of the weekend. And, yeah, that's it, So, be a good Thanksgiving. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because of the fact that there's no pressure on gifts. It's just like eating good food, spending time with your family, watching football.
Start of the holiday season.
Start of the holiday
season. We'll be decorating the house on Friday. That's what we do. That's actually one of the things I had to do today. I had to break out the power washer, even though it was about 50 degrees, give or take, here in Jersey today. I had to break out the power washer, and I had to power wash the fence because the lighted garlands going up on the fence can't have the fence looking grimy.
Can't have a dirty fence.
No, cannot have a dirty fence. So also had to do leaf cleanup today. So I broke out the cyclone rake. If you don't know what the cyclone rake is, you can check it out online. But I have this. I have a lot of leaves on my property, and I have pretty big property, and there's a ton of leaves. My whole property is surrounded by trees everywhere. So I bought this thing called the cyclone rake, and it's basically an attachment that goes onto my John Deere riding mower, and it's like a vacuum for your lawn, but it also has an impeller on it that chops up the leaves, and then it has a big storage thing that it shoots the leaves into, and you can dump that out. It has like a lift on it. You dump it out and whatnot. So, yeah, broke out the cyclone rake this morning, got to work, cleaned up the property front and back, and we're looking good. We're looking good. We're looking ready to go for Thanksgiving. Property's looking good.
You just do what I do, Mike, and just hire someone to do it for me.
Oh no, Rob. I don't even. The landscapers in my neighborhood are like $200 a week. It's like $800 a month for them to come out and cut your grass and all that. Like,
all right,
I don't even want to know what the. I don't even. Yeah, that's why when I first moved in, when I got a quote of how much they were, I was like, all right, I'm going to the John Deere store, buying a John Deere for $3,000 because I ain't paying that every month. That's
yeah, I don't blame you.
So yeah, I just
shouts to people in the chat here.
I think maybe with the exception of one person on my block or in my neighborhood, I probably have the nicest looking property in the neighborhood right now. But that's because of the cyclone rake. It's not really because of me per se, but
sounds like the name of a bowling ball.
Yeah, getting it done. Nico asking me that if I went to a college tournament. I know there was one at Hal this weekend. I was aware. I went to the training center last week, and Tom Russo had mentioned to me that there was a college tournament there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But Nico, do you hear how busy I am, son? I'm not even bowling on Tuesday. I'm skipping league this week. Our third teammate is bowling in my place just because I'm super busy and my kids have parent-teacher conferences on Tuesday night, so I'm freeing my wife up to do that. I'm going to do some running around with the kids, but no, I'm too busy, Nico. I'm too busy to go over and watch college tournament.
I'm even lucky. We got an hour this week.
Plus, I'm going to be honest. Like I'm not going to use the word. I got to think about what word I want to use here. Going to a women's college tournament, NCAA tournament, especially a high-level one like this one was, it's only going to cause feelings of longing in me. Okay? Because I would love to do that. I would love to coach at the college level. And there's a couple programs around here that I think I could coach. I think I could probably produce better results as the coach of that program than other people who've had that same opportunity. So it's tough. It's tough for me to go to something like that and watch and know, like, oh my goodness, like give me one of these teams and see what I do with it, with the kind of talent that you have in New Jersey as well. I mean, yeah. So no, I didn't make it over there. I did follow it a little bit online, but I didn't make it over there. But there was a big college tournament at Hal this weekend, hosted by Monmouth University, which is right out here over in Jersey. So, but no, I'm too busy to go watch bowling right now, Nico. Unless I'm betting on it. Am I betting on it? No, then no. Sorry, not going to watch it.
I want to give a shout out to some people in the chat: Dave Roberts, Scott V, Robert Hamilton, Sando. I love some of these names, man. Strongman 78.
What up, fellas?
Nico's up
and
in
ladies.
The chat. Jim, see Lucas talking about how he's going got $35 a week in Alabama.
Well, that's still $140 a month.
That's what I pay.
I mean, it's still $140 a month.
But Lucas, let me ask you, how many times do they come to your house? Because I guarantee you, it sounds like from your end they come once a week. For me, they come twice a month. So
once a week in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I have a pretty decent sized backyard, but I mean, if I could do it, I could do it myself. If like money became tight all of a sudden, and I was able, that would probably be the first service I would cut, and then I would just go get some stuff and do it myself. But man, the summer's out here. Nobody wants to start doing landscaping in 115-degree weather. You have to wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m. in the summer to start doing some stuff out here. But all right, Mike, let's talk a little bit about league. My league review is going to be quick, so I'll just go first. Last week of the half for me. I'm not bowling the second half. Second shot of the second game, I felt a really, really bad sharp pain in my left knee when I threw a shot, to the point where I lost strength in the knee, and it hurt for a while, and then the pain subsided. I was able to finish all 4 games. I got through it on a 48-foot or 49-foot flat pattern when you don't have any physical Like, if you're not 100% physical throwing the ball, it's going to end up leading to pretty bad scores. I think I shot like 670 or 680 for 4 or something like that. I did bowl 199 the last game, throwing it like 12 miles an hour. But yeah, the half is done. They paid out. It's a pretty cool league because it takes a month off. They take a month break, and they're back on January like 8th or 9th for the second half.
Oh, look at that. How smart is that?
It's brilliant. This league is the
How
best.
smart is that?
This league is the best. I told the guy who runs the league, I will be back. The guy I
He
bowl
deserves
with,
best of the week.
yeah, the guy I bowl with, he's shouts to Joey, runs the pro shop at Via Linda. He's got to have some knee issues. He's got to have some knee stuff done. So he was happy to be done bowling too. Maybe some kind of like knee surgery. I think he's got some torn meniscus he was bowling first half with. So yeah, Team IR. That's what they called us because we are going in the IR. And yeah, I got to figure out my physical stuff. My arm is good. Now it's my knee. Now it's my back. So well, we'll get it figured out. But I don't have to retire. I could once in a while probably get back and bowl a little bit when I physically feel good. But for now, the main focus the next 3 to 5 months is to physically feel better bowling 100%. So yeah, I mean that's my league review. I love the league.
What did you say you shot the last game?
Like 199, which I was very happy
you shot
about.
What for series?
Like 670 something. I bowled 140 the first game.
So is that to say that you went sub 500 for the first 3?
Oh yeah, well I mean, I bowled 140 the first game. So, okay. But in
let it be
that
known.
140, physically I felt fine the first game. I bowled 140. As soon as I hurt my knee, I started bowling better.
Two things to say. First, let it be known, Rob, a very good bowler, sub 500 for 3. Okay, miserable. It happens.
Miserable.
All right. Secondly, let it be known, Rob's got to come back because you can't go out as sub 500 as your last series you ever bowl in it.
I bowled 199 last game, so I was happy about that.
No. But hold on, you can't have 680 with 199 as your last game for the last series you bowl.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Can't do that. Got to come back from that.
You know the thing is, Mike. The thing is, I don't want to continue bowling, like always feel like I'm always complaining about like some kind of injury or not feeling good. Like I want to be done with that. I want to be able to bowl and not have to worry about like physically hurting myself or waking up the next day like I did to Agent Ong on Sunday, not being able to get essentially out of bed, taking like 20 minutes for me to like get out of bed to go bowl finals of a tournament.
Right.
I'm done with that. I got to physically figure it out. I'll be back. But for now, it's going to be just focused on losing weight, strengthening my core, strengthening my back, and then being able to like start actually bowling again. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. I'm in limbo right now.
My league report. I bowled good. I had a good week. Threw it good, executed good. Execution was on point. Lane play was not so great for like a series of frames, maybe 7 frames, 8 frames. The rest of the time, I felt like I had a very good idea of what was going on and what needed to be done to be successful. So I forget what my games were. My first 2 games were not that great score-wise. I think I might have went like I think I was 40 under, about 40 under, 45 under for the first 2. And I think I might have went like 190 something, 170 something. Okay. But the second game, here was the problem. My spare shooting was absolutely atrocious. I forgot to mention that. I think I missed 6 single pin spares in my set. Okay, I shot, there you go, 174, 170, 246. I missed 6 single pins in that set, okay? And I bowled really good the second game, but I missed 3 single pins in that game alone. So that, just tear my hair out. just tear my hair out. Like, it was just ridiculous. Now, the first game, my teammate carried us. Shout to Mike D. He bowled probably his best game of the season execution wise, and shot like 220 on a super demanding pattern. And the last game, I was able to return the favor. I think I had switched balls in the 10th frame of the second game just to see what I had. And then I decided to go with that ball. And I opened the first 2 frames of the third game. I chopped a bucket, and then I missed a single pin. I think it was a 10 pin. So I went open, and then I threw 8 in a row. I switched balls and moved right like 6, and then threw 8 in a row to shoot 240 something the last game and carry my team the last game. So we won 7, I think 7 out of 9, which is good. It was like a roll off week, and we were in first place or in second place. I think we're in first place now. I hadn't followed the standings up to this point really, but I guess after 2 weeks of bowling the same team in the knockdowns, it was obvious, okay, like we must be somewhere up there just by the arrangement of the pairs I could see. So yeah, I bowled well. I mean, I honestly, I can't believe I'm throwing it so well for how little I'm bowling. I'll say that. Like, I'm throwing it really good. And when I have it, I can repeat it pretty well too. The biggest issue for me is finding what needs to be done ball wise, lane play wise. That's it. If I figure that out, I'm probably going to bowl pretty good. So
yeah, get those single pin spares in order, man.
Oh,
just seems like every week.
Single pin spare.
Seems like every week.
Shooting
my spare shooting
so good. No, my spare shooting has been so good as of late in this season in general. But this.
Oh wait, we got to talk about this.
This night, I mean, it was crazy.
What is that for real? Did they? Were they?
Yeah, this is like ridiculous.
All right, we got to read this comment for people listening in the audio. Stefan says
Steph Bowles in my league.
He's Steph Bowles in Mike's league. Don't forget to mention they finally told us our patterns are 2 feet longer than they're supposed to be.
Okay, so let me explain. So like we took the patterns we were using at a previous center.
Okay.
For the non-mandatory thing that I was doing the last 2 years. And we took those same patterns and we just decided to use those patterns at the new center that we were going to be bowling at this year. And we never tested them. We never put them out at the new center. We just said, all right, whatever they play like, we're going to rock with it. So the first night that we show up, the first few weeks that we show up, a few people notice, and after they pointed it out to me, I noticed it too, that like the first 2 feet of the lane are not done. Like there's no oil in the first 2 feet of the lane.
So they're not oiling the lanes until they get to like 3 feet?
Yeah, they don't even start the machine until it's past 2 feet. Okay. So like the first 2 feet of the lane is dry. Oh my goodness. Stop the show. Stop the show.
Rudy,
a goat is in the chat. A goat is in the chat. If that's his real account.
That's his real account.
Goat, welcome. We'd love to have you on sometime. We'd love to get you on, hear some stories. We're all about the action and the history.
Rudy, I'll go live on Thanksgiving Eve, but
with Bob Perry passing away recently. I mean, what a great time to have you come on if you'd be willing to do that and share some of the legendary stories you're a part of. Congratulations on the PBA 50 regional title, by the way.
My guy,
glad that you're here.
It's like riding a bike, huh, Rudy? Yeah, he's shy. Rudy says he's shy. Okay. That's the one thing I know he's not.
Man. So, long story short, I don't want to. You can respond to this because the patterns didn't play anything like they're supposed to play. Okay, they're not supposed. They're like the short pattern, the gutter don't hook. It hooks in the middle. I'm using a Black Widow 3.0 on the short pattern. The medium pattern, the gutter don't hook. The middles hook more than they seem like they should. The long pattern hooks more than you think it will. It's just none of the patterns have played the way that we think they were going to play. We went to the bowling center, and the bowling center was like, "Yeah, we put the patterns out. We don't oil the first 2 feet of the lane." So it's likely that the pattern is like
Yeah, but
2 feet deeper on the lane than it's
probably like it
okay.
matters though. Like people like
I don't know. I think it
doesn't.
might matter, honestly. I
Why do
do.
it matters? Everyone's bowling the same. This
Everyone's
doesn't.
oh, you're right. You're right. Everyone's bowling on the same thing. But here's the thing, though, Rob. Like because of the general like average of this league, we definitely didn't intend for them to be this hard. Like they're extremely hard.
Yeah,
Okay,
I get
so
it. I
we
just finished
wanted them
bowling
to
in
be
that
a little bit
49 foot.
softer. Now, going further, the reason that I'm being told that that Bolero's doing this is a legal thing. I heard that they're doing this because so many people go over the foul line in the first foot or two of the lane and slip that they stopped oiling the first 2 feet of the lane.
It's a
Now they
Geo. Just
told us that they're gonna do it, like they're gonna start oiling from the foul line on the night that we bowl, and we'll see if it makes a difference or not. But I don't know. If not, we're gonna change the patterns and try and find something that works a little bit better for what we're looking for. So
Yeah, Geo's dropping the chat. It's like so the open play bowlers don't slip. I'll be honest with you, Mike. Though I've never heard that before. That's the first time I'm hearing that they don't oil the first 2 feet. I guess it would make sense though, because really, unless you put the ball down directly behind the foul line, is it really going to affect your ball motion? If they did that on tour, I'm asking because I don't know. Would that affect like how the ball, like how the ball like rolls? Like a lot of people loft it by the first foot or two anyway, right off their hand.
yeah, everybody's asking us about J.R. Raymond in his comments.
I don't even read it.
Listen. I don't tune into that a lot. So if somebody wants to summarize what he was saying there, please.
I've been off social media.
I'll be glad to
It's
take
been,
a look.
Mike, it's been refreshing not being on social media and not like once in a while I'll pop on, but it's been nice just to check out for a while.
So yeah, I don't know what it's going to do to the pattern. I'm not a lane expert. I'm not a pattern expert, but I'll say this. I mean, you would think that if the pattern in the machine is programmed to go down like from the foul line down the lane, and then you manually push the machine up 2 feet and then start that same pattern, you would think that the pattern is going to play differently than it's supposed to, right? Because everything's going to be 2 feet later. The volumes are going to be 2 feet further down the lane than they're supposed to be, right? And I agree. Steph is saying I just show up and bowl. I do too, and you can't make them hard enough for me. I love when they're hard, but I'm not. It's not about me, and it's not about Steph. It's about the average consensus of the league. And like you can't make them if you're having people that are introductory to sport bowling, and this is really their first time or maybe their second time bowling in something sport related, you cannot make them crazy impossible. It's not fair. You gotta build up to that.
I
You
got
can
it.
make them hard, you can make them challenging, but like you gotta give them the short. The short should be a little bit easier and softer. You want a medium where they can probably throw it to the gutter and get it back a little bit, and they're not going to pick three off the right if they get it right in the medium. And normally, to me, in my experience, the long should be the really hard pattern because you're not able to get it right. And if you get it right, there's a big penalty. So I think a lot of that is based on how you play them on house and the fact that everybody's like stand left, throw right. So I don't know. We'll see. To be determined, I guess.
So I guess Nico summed it up about this hot take is that he said that league bowlers are spoiled and entitled, which is not a hot take. I mean, everybody knows that already. J.R. Raymond said that he doesn't care if leagues die off and go away. I think that's a little bit extreme. It's probably sounds more of a clickbait type take. Bowling leagues is it's a really good revenue generator for bowling centers, regardless of how easy the leagues are these days. It brings consistent revenue, consistent bar, consistent money intake every week. Now, I would have to listen to his reasons why. Maybe he makes some good points. So from those two sentences, that's really all I could really take from that, Mike. But leagues are important for bowling. Leagues are important for bowling centers and bowling proprietors. Now, in today's day, will they make more money opening up bowling centers for open play than having leagues? I think it depends on where the center is. I think certain centers that might bring in more money with opening it up to open play if the league's shut down, and I think they could fill houses, some of them with open play. But I don't know. That's a whole road. I don't know if we want to get into tonight, but
yeah, we'll talk. We could table that discussion for a later time, and I will check out his comments too. But just a quick thought. I think league bowling has reached a point where you kind of have several different groups of people who are bowling league for different reasons. Like league bowling is a thing that everybody has their own reason for doing. Like, and there's several groups that have several different reasons, and that's how I see it.
Yeah.
It's like it's not something that like anybody is like overly crazed about, but it's something that everybody who shows up and does it has their reason for doing it. And Nico's commenting saying he was saying that people say league bowling is dying, and therefore bowling is dying. I gotta say, league bowling to me has definitely taken a huge hit over the last 20, 25, 30 years. Like, I remember a time when you would show up to a good scratch league and there would be 20 plus, maybe even 30 teams of 5 players, and every single bowler was a good bowler. And now I feel like you watch a league, forget about a scratch league. There ain't even such a thing as a scratch league anymore. But you watch what's supposed to be a great league, and it's, there's really maybe a handful of good bowlers in that league.
So I have an interesting story, though, I want to share that I'd like to hear your opinion on. When we were bowling the Sport League last week, we bowled on the 49-foot U.S. Open pattern, okay? And they were absolutely brutal. I mean, probably what you said you've been bowling on, similar type shit, right? Where if you missed right, I'm talking right of like 12, the ball fell off a cliff. Like you picked 3 or you washed out. There was a league or team that was bowling or pre-bowling. They bowled on the pair right of us, but I guess they didn't have any pairs open for them, so they put them on a U.S. Open pattern. And I don't think they knew it.
Okay.
Right? And these guys were probably like...
That's my dream. My dream scenario.
You got to hear this, because this is what I thought was going to happen. Because these guys, they put their performance balls on the lane.
Okay.
And then I see the waitress come over to them and they start ordering pitchers of beer. And I start watching them throw balls down the lane. And they're probably, these guys are, in my guess, would have been the 140 to 150 average.
Oh, okay.
But listen. So I said to the guy at bowling when I said, yo, this is going to be good content for the show. Because when I saw them put balls on the rack, I knew what they were bowling on. And it seemed to me maybe that these guys were like higher average, like 180, 190. And the content would have been amazing. So
the content only would have been amazing if they were 220 and up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they were like, I thought these guys were going to be 180, 190 bowlers, but they weren't. And they sat there and I watched them bowl like 2 or 3 games. And they were bowling like 120 and 115 and 130. And they were having a blast. They were watching the football game. They were drinking beer. They didn't care. They were bowling 115, 125. They were out of the house. Most of them were probably married with kids, having a good time with their buddies, drinking beer. And then I said to myself, I was laughing to myself. I said, I thought that if they got rid of house patterns, that people would just want to have beer and throw strikes. And if they made lanes challenging for everybody, that people would quit and they would get upset. And I watched these guys sit there and they had such a blast bowling on a U.S. Open pattern that I was pulling the hair out of my head. And these guys had such a blast bowling 120 because they were there just to bullshit, have fun. They didn't care they were bowling 130. It reminded me of when I play golf, Mike. When I play golf, I'm not playing golf to hit a 72 or 68 and I'm there to hang out, enjoy being with friends, nice area, nice weather, whatever it is, right? So it made me think like that there's only really a small window of bowlers that would be pissed that they all of a sudden aren't bowling on the house pattern, right? Those would be probably the 190 to 220 local house average pros, right? That's what you want to call them. And those were the people that would be pissed. And I was really hoping to God that these were the people that were going to be bowling next to me. And for them to be on that US Open pattern, pain, misery, and depression.
The best reality show in bowling would be if you could get some center owners to agree to put out one pair of a sport pattern or even a whole league of a sport pattern for their best league in their house.
Just one
Okay,
league.
just for one night.
And
one random night.
Mike, the front desk up.
We camera the whole place. It's like bar rescue, okay? We got cameras everywhere, all right? Me and you are in the van outside John Taffer style, okay? That's the way we'd be going down, right? We got cameras everywhere, right? We're able to watch everything in real time. The bowl, it starts with the bowling center empty. The lanes are all done. We know what's out there, but no one else does. And all these guys start arriving. All the patch pirates with their gear and their shirts and everything, and they're bringing all their balls in. They're all laughing, having a good time. They're getting in their brackets. They're putting in for their pots. We're watching all of this unfold, and then practice starts. Okay, and then practice starts, and they start throwing balls down the lane. And at first, they're not going to be sure because they stink and they don't really know what's out on the lane anyway. They can't tell anyway. But eventually, they're going to figure out like, oh, this ain't our regular house shot. And then I would just love to see what would ensue from there in these various situations, like different houses, different states, all over the place. Like I mean, I'm willing to bet there. Rob's going to fall out of his chair. He loves this idea so much. I'm willing to bet that there would be some pretty crazy situations that would occur where like some guys would probably force the whole thing to stop. And they would want the lanes redone and all.
What would Mr. X do?
Mr. X. I think Mr. X probably wouldn't even realize. He would just think he's doing something wrong. And then at the end of the night say, "Oh, well, they changed the pattern. They changed the pattern."
Well, you know, it would be
Lucas Wiseman would pay to watch this. That's a good sign. Amazing. That's a good sign, you know.
Mic up the manager, because you know they're all going to want to speak to the manager.
We'd have mics everywhere. We'd have mics in every settee.
And then me and you come out
front desk. What?
You come out after the third game, and like the video camera crew.
Yeah, we come out. We come out after like maybe third frame of the third game. We come.
I could be like John Tapper, and I could yell at the bowlers, "You
shut it down! Shut it down!
You think you're a good bowler, and you bowled 120. You can't adjust, and you just start yelling at the bowlers." You know what I mean? Oh, God, would I love to see that. Pay to see that. Would be our dream. Anyway.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about the Masters real quick.
I'm so tired of the controversy over this. Listen, if you want to bowl, just be ready to register. That's what it comes down to.
No,
it's like a pair of sneakers. If you want the kicks, be ready at 10 a.m. on Saturday, bro.
Let's talk about what happened, because there might be some people who don't know what happened, what the controversy is, or quote unquote controversy. So the Masters every year, they tell everybody what time and date entries and registration is going to be open online, right? I registered last year, so I understand the process. It's pretty easy, right? You really got to make sure that your USBC membership is active, you have the number, it's online, right? Make sure you're in good standing, right? And then you just got to log on and register within a certain time period, right? And you're gonna end up on the waiting list. The problem.
Well, hold on, can I just throw this in?
Sure.
It's because let's be honest, it's really a glorified pro-am for qualifying. No.
I wouldn't say it's a pro-am. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a pro-am. I would go as professional amateurs. So yes, I guess you could call it a pro-am.
No. To be clear, I mean pro-am in the sense of there's a lot of entrants out there who are only bowling so they can say they bowled, and they bowled on the pair with so-and-so and next to so-and-so. And they'll go -1 million. They'll average 170 or less, and they'll make up some lame
I don't.
excuse about why they didn't bowl good, and that's their Masters experience.
Yeah, but I also I'm gonna say that you got to give a little bit of credit to some of these people that are going there, maybe just to experience what it's like bowling a professional tournament. I mean,
Oh,
we
come
always
on. Are you
criticize.
serious, bro?
Well, listen to me.
You're
Can you
going to give
listen?
credit to the people that go there and average
Listen to me.
160.
Listen to me, because you're always giving shit to people who don't want to leave their own bowling centers in their leagues, right? You always say these people they average 230, they never want to bowl in the hard stuff, they
Well,
never
let's
want to do
not
this.
start with the Masters. Let's not start with the USBC Masters. How about that?
Okay,
How about
fair
you
point.
start with a Greg Tack local tournament? How
Greg
about you
Tack's
start with a
First off, Greg Tack's shot is harder than the Masters.
okay? How about you start with a PBA regional?
Okay,
You want to
fair
bowl
point.
something of a high
Fair-
level? Okay, come
okay,
on,
it's a fair
please.
point. Okay,
You
it's a
know,
fair point.
I give people credit. I give people credit, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't bowl. But like, there are situations where guys shouldn't be bowling this tournament. That are
I
bowling
agree.
this
Okay, I'm not going to
tournament,
disagree with you. Okay, but so let's talk real quick, because what ended up happening is everyone got on to registration, and I guess from what I'm reading and is what happened is that the entries got shut out within 13 to 15 minutes, whatever the timeline was, and people that were having problems registering, meaning problems like maybe their USBC number wasn't whatever it was. I know Pelusic had a problem. I read online. He had a whole thing about it. But 13 minutes. Last year, I believe it was about 2.5 hours. This year was 13 or 15 minutes. So my first question to you, Mike, is, because I read Tom Doherty's post on Facebook about this. It's very rare the bowlers actually are campaigning for a more expensive entry fee. And I heard supply and demand be used. One, should the USBC raise the entry fee for the Masters? Now, the entry fee right now is about $500. Would you be like, if the USBC next year said, you know what, we're gonna make the entry $750 or even $1,000? Would you be against that, or would you
no.
think that they should do that first off? Like, first thing, raise the entry. If it
I mean, I can't believe it's still $500. Is that what it is? Still 500?
still
I mean,
500,
no, it should be at least 1,000.
should be at least 1,000. Now, here's my next question to you: should exempt players, the top whatever it is, right, 64, whatever the exemption is, should should they have a first shot crack at entering the Masters before it opens up, or should there be some kind of credentials in order to have first crack at entering the Masters before they open up the floodgates?
I think if you're going to do that, you better do it for more than just people that are exempt.
Okay, so my next
Right.
question would be,
So I don't
right.
know what that looks like, but not a lot of people are going to like
Well,
my
Nico said
answer
they
to
did
this
have first
solution,
crack
'cause, like,
to enter.
it's
I didn't
already a
know this.
circus. Okay. The
Mike, did you know
Masters-
this?
What?
Did Nico says they did have first crack to enter?
Okay. As they probably should.
They should.
As
Yeah,
they probably should. You
they
know,
should.
I definitely don't want to see top.
Okay,
I
didn't know
don't
that.
want to. I don't want to see top PBA players, any PBA players, any PBA regional players, any top collegiate players, any top amateur players. I don't want to see any of those people shut out, because the Masters, you get people like that who make runs in that tournament. Mr. Booker being an example of that last year, obviously. But at the same time, I don't know where you draw the line on a lot of that. But people ain't going to like my answer to this. The Masters is it's already a circus. It's already very pro-am like. So, you know what? Bowl with 8 on a pair. You know what? Bowl with 10 on a pair. It's only 5 games. It's only a 5-game block. Bowl with 10 on a pair. Let whoever wants to bowl. Who says we can't bowl with 10 on a pair? The PBA guys will be all upset, but who cares? They'll get over it. You only got to make the top 64. If you can't make the top 64, I don't care if there were 14 on the pair. You didn't bowl good enough. Get over it.
Okay, so I do want to state this. Yes, I didn't know. I was wrong. The exemption players did have first crack at it. I didn't know the details behind what their first crack at it was. I would kind of be interested. Were they able to enter last week? Did they enter an hour before? Like, I don't know the details behind that. But
or have 8 squads in a day.
What?
Have 8 squads in a day. Have guys bowl until 3 a.m. You know, G squad starts at 1 a.m., 1 to 3 a.m.
Yeah, Lucas wants to have a reaction of the PBA pros if they put 10 on a pair. That would be miserable to watch on top of that. Like the actual like view, like fans watching this on a Bowl TV stream would be completely and utterly miserable. That'd be pain, misery, and depression for the fans.
I don't really care about any of this. Here's what I care about. What day does the match play start? Because I need to take that day off and the next day off.
Right.
So please give me those dates, somebody in the chat, because I need to put in.
So I guess my question:
best 2 betting days in bowling.
Mike,
all the action you can handle. Okay.
Should they have a PTQ for the people that were on the waiting list that didn't get in?
I don't know. Do they have the spots?
Well, let's just say they
show up, not guaranteed to get in.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm asking as a question because if you have whatever the entry is.
No, whatever. If you're in, you're in. If you're not, I'm sorry. It's bad fortune. You know, what are you going to do? Good luck next year. That's all I can say. I mean, no.
Okay.
The way the cookie crumbles.
I don't know. I think they should.
Chances are you weren't going to win anyway.
I think they should hold 3 spots open. And if you're on the waiting list, have it open PTQ, right? And then I don't know, have 7 games.
Or I would go the other way, and I would say only guarantee 100 spots, okay? And then there's a PTQ before the tournament for 300 spots. How's that? And everybody who wants to get in has to show up a couple days before and bowl their way in, except for the top 100. The top 100 are in. And it's a PTQ where 300 people get in, but you got to earn your way in.
The ideas you're bringing tonight are hilarious.
If you don't make that top 300, your bowling gear is confiscated before you leave. You're not allowed to bring your bowling gear home if you don't make the PTQ cut, because it would be the easiest cut in bowling to make, right? 300 people. You'd probably have 860 entries, right? According to everybody out there, everybody wants to bowl the Masters, okay? So you'd have 860 entries to this PTQ, but you would take 300 people. So easiest cut in bowling to make. If you don't make it, your stuff is confiscated. You don't get to bring your bowling stuff home.
How about the USBC charges $25 for every bowling ball, and then every bowling ball someone brings into the bowling center?
Okay.
Or registers when they're in the tournament. Every serial number you write down that you used, it's a $25 fee.
I like this idea by Jimmy. Anybody who doesn't make the cut, they have to go to the nearest bridge to the bowling center. We identify the nearest geographical bridge, and we line everybody up, and they have to throw their gear. They have to throw their gear in the river because they couldn't make the easiest cut in bowling. I love it. Oh my goodness.
The poor fish. It would be all kinds of environmental freaking protesting going on.
Like a natural coral, it would be a man-made coral reef.
Yeah. Nothing better than I would like to see a coup de sea going into the river. That would be my.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point by Lucas. $100,000 for first. A $500 entry fee for $100,000 for first is pretty low.
Don't worry. As soon as people were talking about raising the entry, you don't think the money signs are going in USBC's eyes. Right. When they see that highlighting in 13 minutes, trust me, they'll raise it. But here's the thing is they'll get criticism for raising the entry too, because the USBC gets criticism for everything they do. And raising the entry fee, there'll be so many people complaining about it. It would be unbelievable when actually they probably should. And I think they should actually probably make it 1,000. I think 1,000 is probably a good spot to where it needs to be. And I do think they need to think about
I say 1250.
1250, whatever, somewhere around there.
1250.
I do believe that they should. But anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens the next year when they if they come up with some other way to not shut people out after 13 minutes. But
yeah,
hey,
eight squads, 10 on a pair.
It shows bowling's in a good spot, though. You know what I mean? I'd be more nervous about people not entering.
No, it's not. No, it doesn't say that bowling's in a good spot. I'd argue it says bowling's in a bad spot because you got so many uninformed goofballs out there who think they can show up and bowl the Masters.
Yeah, but those uninformed goofballs are the ones that you want bowling in a tournament. If you're a professional bowler and you're a guy who's the top 20 in your world, you want these goofballs bowling a tournament. You want those goofballs bowling every tournament you bowl.
Well, see, that's the thing. They're not going to bowl more than one. They're only going to bowl one, and that's the problem. They're going to bowl one, and they're going to say, "Oh, I threw the wrong ball." You know, I actually. There was a time years ago when the U.S. Open and the Masters was at Carolier, and obviously I used to go all the time, and ran into this dude outside who was bowling. He was like a local house bowler, and he was actually pretty good. But I run into him outside, and this dude is like minus $1 million. He's like minus $1 million. He's averaging like 170 for the tournament. Okay, and he actually says like, my execution's been pretty good, but my ball choices have been really bad. Yeah, I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
what it sounds like?
That was 10 years ago. So I can't imagine where we're at today.
If you want to hear what people are going to be saying or how they're going to be saying when they bowl bad after the Masters, just go listen to every Big Mike League review at the beginning of this show and listen to what Big Mike says. And that's exactly what people are going to sound like when they bowl and they missed the cut. The Masters. I missed too many single spin spares. I couldn't execute. I couldn't play the lanes. It is.
Ain't gonna say they couldn't execute.
It's like me. Like my knee hurt. I hurt my knee. My back hurt. I just couldn't do it.
March 27th and 28th, folks. Put your time in. Put your time in, okay? If you want to rock with your boy.
Yeah, Andrew says it shot.
Okay, that day.
My execution was perfect, but my score was just low. It sounds like Mike's league review. Threw a grade, I just couldn't, score, or I couldn't play the right lane, the part of the lane. Hey, we've all been there, but
I can relate, right?
There's a difference between being a 170, like being like averaging 180 or 170, than going there and averaging like 130. Like I feel like if you do bowl and you average like lower than 130, like you should be banned for like 3 years from bowling the tournament. Like I don't know, they should have some kind of rule about if you average like lower, you should be made to be on worst of the week, like with your picture or something on our like podcast.
So all right, we ready to move on?
We are ready to move on.
I would say let's get into a discussion about PBA yearly awards since the candidates for those came out this year. But to be honest with you, Rob, there ain't much discussion to be had.
All right, hot take. You ready for the hot take? The PBA Rookie of the Year award is non-existent right now, in my opinion, and I'll tell you why. Unless they give out
a false award, is what you're saying.
It's what?
It's a false award, is what you're saying.
It's not. It's an award that doesn't have the meaning it used to.
Okay.
And and the reason why I say that is because Cortez won Rookie of the Year, and he's not even on tour right now, and he never even got an exemption. He never got anything out of the award for being PBA Rookie of the Year.
And we're at a place where your PBA Rookie of the Year, you might not see him the next year.
Right.
Whereas PBA Rookie of the Year used to mean, oh, you're going to see that guy out here for the next
Rookie of the Year is. That's what the Rookie of the Year award is. It's you're highlighting the young and the people who are up and coming future stars on your tour.
Right.
And at this point, you could be Rookie of the Year and bowling PTQs every week. which is what a lot of those guys that's what it is. I think if you're a Rookie of the Year award, they should think about giving some, maybe now that it's exemptions, give an exemption if you're Rookie of the Year. Make it mean something, that you're giving your young stars a platform to showcase their ability. Right now, they're not. PTQs is not a platform to showcase their ability. It's a 7-game-a-week grind for these guys, or whatever it is that PTQs. It's a marathon to try to make it, right? Now, if you gave Cortez, I'm using Cortez as an example, if you gave Cortez a year of exemption, regular, relaxed, not having to marathon his way onto the regular tour, you might see him more making match play and making shows, because you're giving him a little bit of a runway to showcase his ability.
Okay, no, that's a fair point. I tend to agree with you on that.
You know why Stefan says Cortez just did in Darren's video that he isn't bowling the majors this year? Cortez is running a business right now. You know, he took over his dad's business after his dad passed away, and he's got a full-time commitment to his company to run it and to make it good. And you can't do that bowling in and out of tour and going to majors once, you know, your whole week here or there. Like, it's either full-time on or full-time off, right? Like,
well, so you got to make money. Okay?
100%.
Not everybody's family owns a bowling center. Not everybody's family is in the bowling business where they could just, you know, go home and you know, practice and get paid for it. Okay, you got to make money, and bowling is a tough living to make money at. You know, especially for these young and inexperienced guys. You know, it's very tough. It's very tough out there. You know, and you know, I think about what it means for the future of the tour. If you don't have guys like a Cortez Schenk out there regularly competing, what are you going to have? Because that kid's been a top talent in bowling since he was 12. So if a kid like that ain't making it out there, how many of them are going to make it? And where's that going to leave things 10 years from now, 15 years from now? You know,
it just separates the gap even further for the guys who are able to be on there. It's like, I feel like it just completely separates the top 15 to top 20 to everybody else gap with these young kids. Like, you got to make it a little bit easier for these kids out of college, right? Regionals. You got to make it a little bit easier for them to be able to go out there full time. And that's always been a problem. It's always been a struggle. Even when we were younger and, you know, we maybe had tour aspirations, it was so hard to go out there and be successful on a full-time basis if you didn't have a rich family, if you didn't have, like you said, like some kind of sponsorship or backing, which was miserable. No, who wants to give 30 or 40% of their paycheck away to somebody? I mean, you're living, like, working. And that's what a lot of the sponsorships were doing, right? Where they would pay for you, but you'd have to give 30, 40% or whatever it was. So, yeah, just Rookie of the Year on that end. I don't want to go down a wormhole, right? But Rookie of the Year.
For me, I would give it to Nate Purchase. I mean, I think he bowled pretty. You know, he had some outstanding finishes throughout the season. You know, I know Alec Keplinger did as well. I just remember seeing Nate Purchase's name up there a little bit more frequently and more often than Alec Keplinger. But on the other side, Rob, Player of the Year, you know, EJ Tackett, a no-brainer. You know, I don't know how much argument there is for anything else. I'd love to be able to sit here and make an argument for our boy. Shout to him on the nomination. Shout to all the guys that were nominated. But yeah, I think clearly EJ Tackett in a gasser.
But, like, real quick on that end, dude, unbelievable year by Bill. Dude, to be where he is in his career, and if it wasn't for the World Series of Bowling, I really believe that. If it wasn't for Detroit, I think he would have had a maybe better run to kick EJ Tackett off the throne, which I think EJ Tackett is right now on the throne. He's got the crown, Mike. He's the best bowler on tour. You can't make an argument right now that he's not. And I just feel like Bill made a really good run, but unfortunately the World Series kind of crushed him. So yeah, I don't think it's an argument either. I think EJ wins hands down. And I think we're going to see EJ's name a lot in the next few years as player of the year or running for player of the year. I think Simo will make a tougher run at it this year, next year. And yeah, we'll go through year awards in a few weeks in December and talk about next year as well. Preview for next year. And I look forward to that because it means this tour is starting soon, which right now is feel like we're still at a dead time.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say two things. Number one, Bet Rivers, if you're listening, give us bets for player of the year. Give us odds for player of the year going into next year.
Oh, EJ's got to be like minus 800. I mean,
okay, so all the people listening, get your Bet Rivers accounts
futures
ready. Give us some futures, and all of our people with Bet Rivers accounts, get your Bet Rivers accounts ready, and be ready to bet your futures if they're willing to give them to us. I mean, Rob, I'd love to see some futures on player of the year, player to win a title or not. I would love to see that. Player to finish in the top 10 in points or not. I would love to see that.
Will there be a 710 made on TV? How about that? Give me some of those. Give me some weird awards, right?
Okay.
Like, will a bowling ball be banned?
Will there be a sub 100 game bowled on TV? All right, that's a good one too.
Like, will there be a I don't know, like whatever, like something crazy, like
Bet Rivers, let's go. We ride with you, Bet Rivers. Give us more. We need more.
We'll tell
Hit us
you.
up. Email us. We'll give you the rundown of what you need to post. But yes, definitely get your gambling accounts ready. Season's coming. Let's go. All right, Rob. Let's wrap it up. Let's give the people what they want, please. Eagles are on soon. Let's go. Jimmy's my guy. Jimmy says the gambling degenerates zone, and he says that's what we need for the PBA. You're right. It's what that if there's anything that is going to take the PBA and bring it from where it is and put it in more of a spotlight where the general public cares about it and pays attention to it, gambling is the vehicle through which that is going to happen.
And it's got to be mainstream gambling. It's got to be DraftKings. It's got to be
mainstream.
FanDuel. It's got to be on the Vegas casino boards, right? It's got to be mainstream.
And the PBA has to embrace it. The PBA has to put out content geared for gamblers who don't know much about the. I
told them they need to remember that idea I had that even Tom Clark said it was a pretty good idea. They need to make a tournament that's just literally one tournament to start it. That their whole tournament is based on odds and being able to bet on TV. Bet there in person as well as on an app while you watch and stream it. All right, Mike, let's get the worst of the week.
All right, my worst of the week is easy, and I wanted to be specific here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to generalize.
It's a good one. Single spans on a single pins on a show. Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm going to give my worst of the week. It's a general worst of the week. My worst of the week is going to be to any local bowling organizations that run Masters events and run them on house shots.
Ooh, okay.
I like
that. That's still going on around your area? Because I don't see that in my area at all.
Unfortunately, it is. If you're running a local Masters event, it's got to be on something other than a house shot. Come on.
It doesn't have to be a hard.
No, it doesn't have to be impossible. Don't have to be the U.S. Open. But, why not use a Masters pattern? I mean, it's a Masters tournament.
Make it a middle of the road to a little bit of an easier type sport pattern. I'd be fine with that, right?
Crazy.
Yeah. My worst of the week was emailed to us. I'm not going to tell who emailed it. I'm always really good at confidentiality here at Sweep the Rack, right? But worst of the week is going to Motive Bowling group on Facebook, where a gentleman by the name of Kyle Cross was making Motive paintings, or as he called them, EXJ paintings.
Well, that was the EXJ
edition paintings, right? Where he used the colors of that ball, and but the funny part about it wasn't so much of the paintings that I gave worst of the week, because look, how you want to spend your free time, I don't really care. If you want to make motive paintings and put them around your house, God bless, right? But my worst of the week goes to where he puts this on the motive page, right? And then some rat bastard goes and says, "Oh well, you need motive's permission to make these paintings, right?" And then and then so this guy not saying to this comment to this guy, F off, right? I'm just gonna sell them, like whatever. Let Motive come after me, essentially, right? Which
Right.
Motive wouldn't do, right? Like Motive's not gonna take a lawsuit to some guy selling paintings out of his garage.
Probably not.
Okay, no. So what does this guy do? This guy then reaches out to Motive,
Right.
okay, and asks Motive, like, yo, like, can I sell your paintings? And he writes, well, the guy, the rat guy writes, you are not allowed to sell these unless you have copyright approval from Motive. It's like, yo, relax, bro. I'd have been so angry, right? And then he responds, well, I got into touch with Motive today. I will not be selling those paintings, unfortunately. The licensing fee is just too much for me to make any money, to be honest. But nevertheless, here is my one-of-one experimental EXJ painting. Kyle, if you're listening to this, okay, you won worst of the week. I'm going to give you some advice. F them all. Make your paintings, sell them. No, Motive ain't going to sue you. You should have never even reached out to them. I would have been like, yo, like, here are my paintings, Motive. I'm selling paintings with your logo on it. Come at me.
We ain't going nowhere.
We're not leaving.
I'm gonna keep painting my paintings.
We're not going anywhere. Anyway, so that's my worst of the week. Just the whole thing on Motive bowling.
You're gonna need the National Guard to come in here and stop me from doing my paintings.
He's doing that.
Oh my God.
Great movie.
I agree.
All right, Mike, let's wrap this up here.
Your paintings. Final thoughts, Rob. My final thought is seriously, get your Bet Rivers account ready. All right, the season's coming. Get your Bet Rivers account ready. Ride with your boy. You want to make money? I'm the world's best bowling better. You want to make money? Come make money with me. We made some money. We made a lot of money last year.
I did real well last year.
Right? Make some money with us. Get your account ready. Get your account ready. I'm going to tell you, it's a little bit of it's a rocky ride. It's a rocky ride. It's not a smooth ride, okay?
Never a smooth ride.
There's going to be ups and downs along the way, but just trust that in the long run, we're coming out ahead, okay?
Yes,
we're coming out ahead. So get your account ready, whether you want to bet $1, $10, $100, $1,000 sometimes maybe. 1,400 hours on Kyle Troop to beat Pete Weber, perhaps, and then Pete Weber beats him. But nonetheless, we're coming out ahead. All right, get your gambling account ready.
I love it. I'm ready. Can't wait. My final thought is going to a milk carton. Okay, there was a severe milk carton that happened last week.
Wow.
Mark Williams won the 2024 South Point Senior Shootout Bowl TV Championship. Dude, Mark Williams.
Worst good bowler I used to watch back in the day.
Yo, that guy was the guy who you would walk into the bowling center and you would see him throw a one shot and you'd be like, yo, I'll bowl that guy for any amount of money. And then you would bowl him and he would clean your clock.
Looked like Ronald McDonald. Looked like a scary version of Ronald McDonald, actually.
He'd play 5 and he would look at 5 and he would hit 5 for 10 games and he'd beat you 10-0 and take all of your money.
When we were kids, right? Like we watched bowling all the time, and then you would go out and you would try and emulate how guys throw it, right? You watch Mike Albee, you try and throw like Albee, Ozio, right? Okay. Let's be clear. No one went to the bowling center and said, I'm gonna put this giant glove on and I'm gonna try and throw it like Mark Williams. That's what I'm gonna try and do.
And
nobody.
As a kid, I always got Walter Ray Williams mixed up with Mark Williams. I always did.
Jimmy
Because-
commented on his hair. I'm telling
Oh,
you. I
it's-
mean,
we
you
should
got
pull it up.
if you're a young bull and you listen to this podcast and you don't know who Mark Williams is, hit pause, go to YouTube right now, go look up some Mark Williams matches from the 90s. My man was dripping. Okay? He was dripping. All right? I'm serious.
Mark Williams was awesome though. I used to enjoy rooting against him. You know what I mean? Like he was always the guy you're like, man, he's not flashy, but I always got Walter Ray mixed
no
up with him.
one wanted to throw it like Mark Williams. No one was like, "Oh, Mark Williams is on the show today. Awesome! Oh my goodness!" It was like, "Oh."
I'm glad to see him still bowling though and succeeding.
No, it's great, man. It's cool.
Great to see the nostalgia, the old guys you like, not old guys, but the guys you watch on TV still bowling and still competing.
I wish we could get more of those types of guys to come on the show. We've
Well, we
reached
could
out
if
to
we
many of them,
if we asked. Yeah,
and like I don't know, they don't seem to get back to you. They're not interested or whatever.
They would come on if we made more of an effort. I think they would come on.
Like a Steve Hoskins.
I'm trying to get Rudy on. Rudy, you still out there? Like, come on, man.
I know, man. Oh, jeez.
Stop beat. We know this is happening. Let's go. Like, all right, Mike. I know you got to
see. Sarah went on YouTube. And looked up the Mark Williams video, right?
Yeah.
With that glove, I mean, his wrist used to stay like this the whole entire approach. It was unbelievable.
My guy, man, he was strike though. He'd be like, I'd always got him and Walter.
And you know what his style is a good example of, and I've talked about this before on the podcast. Like, you used to be able to put the ball down into the front of the lane and really rev it into the front. You used to be able to really lay it down and rev it into the front of the lane. You can't do that anymore.
No, because they don't oil the first 2 feet at Bolero.
Well,
they
this
start
is true, but I think there's more behind than that.
They
But
start
so like you watch Mark Williams, my man was like revving it into the front part of the lane, just laying it at the foul line, just smacking it as hard as he could.
Love it.
Interesting. But all right, we're going to be going for 2 weeks. Yes, we're out for 2 weeks.
That's the plan right now. We'll keep
coming back in 2 weeks. We're going to do kind of a yearly wrap-up show, and then we're probably going for another 2 weeks.
Probably.
So
and then
we only got like 2 shows left till the end of the year. We will definitely check in with everybody on social media as well. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving holiday. Kick off to the holiday season. Everybody enjoy it. And
happy Thanksgiving.
Check us out on social media. He's at Broken Rob 11. I'm at the 215th. We do most of our social media interaction on X. Also, check our little clips that have been out there on TikTok and Instagram.
I gotta start getting those out more. Yeah, I took a little bit of a break.
Check those out. Definitely like and subscribe. If you can help us out in that way, that would be great. And listen, everybody have a great holiday. Enjoy it with your families and whatnot. And we'll be back in 2 weeks to kick it with everybody. Rob, have a good holiday. See you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring